Hello everybody, Chaz Large here with another Fix It video for you, and on the bench today, look what we've got. We've got a grand old record player. Yes, it's a player that plays records. Those things, those round things that are bigger than a CDs. They are called LPs and SPs, and they go on here and they're played acoustically by a tone arm. We've got an amplifier here with some controls on, off, bass, treble and volume, but the problem is that it's not working properly, and I'll demonstrate that very briefly by turning it on, and you'll hear immediately what the problem is. There's the problem. A big loud mains type hum. Now I very much suspect that there is a problem with the AC to DC converter part of this, the power supply, which is in there, so we need to get into it. I'm pretty sure the simplest way is to remove these two screws, and the whole of this circuit board here should lift out, fingers crossed. So I'm just going to use an ordinary screwdriver on my electric one for now. One big long screw, second big long screw. Now it's been quite a while since I've done one of these, very similar to this, quite some time ago, and you can't ask for a bit of repairability better than that. So the whole circuit board comes out, and there you can see the whole lot. On here we've got the output transistors on here. Tell you what, let's zoom in with the camera. So we've got a mains smoothing capacitor here, we've got a bridge rectifier here, and the various controls. I would suspect that probably the bridge rectifier may have failed. Looks like somebody at some stage or other has changed that capacitor, because it doesn't look like it's an original, although it may be. Don't know, we'll have to see what we can see. If there's a circuit diagram, we've got a couple of other capacitors there. Nothing looks like it's leaked. Nothing looks like it's actually blown apart. So I think what I'm going to do is just grab hold of the circuit diagram and have a little look at it. Okay, so here is the circuit diagram, and we can see that over here we've got the mains coming in, live neutral earth, going into the transformer, and from the transformer we've got a bridge rectifier. Across the bridge rectifier we've got this big smoothing capacitor, which is a 2000 microfarad at 30 volts, and that provides our raw DC out to the amplifier. I would suspect that probably one of those four diodes in the bridge rectifier has failed. It's not taken any fuse out, and in fact there is no fuse in here. There's a mains fuse in the plug, but that has not blown, so I suspect that it's just putting raw DC across there, or that capacitor has failed. Though the capacitor looks actually to be quite good. Having said that, the positive side of the capacitor is ground. So in fact this is a negative supply rail. So you can see there the two anodes of the diodes come to the capacitor there. So the supply rail here, this earth, is ground, so this is a minus supply rail there. And I spotted that as another thing, which when I was just having a look at the circuit, at the actual board, there is the capacitor here, and there's a mounting bracket here where the mains comes in, that feeds off to the motor, and there's a screw that goes through, and that screw was touching on the positive. I thought, that doesn't look right, but of course it doesn't matter because that is ground anyway, so not a problem with that. So what we need to do is to have a look at these diodes here and have a look at the capacitor and make sure they're all okay. Okay, well I'm going to start by checking the bridge rectifier, this thing here. Got the meter here on ohms. You can just about see the display, and it's a 4-pin connector there, so no writing on the other side of the circuit board, but we should be able to see if there's any oddness with those 4 pins. There they are there. So between this one, which is the positive to ground, that's going to be the negative, I would guess, and we've got 2 k ohms that way, 1.2 2 k ohms that way, and that one there 2 k ohms that way, and that one to there, that's probably the AC input side, and that's going to be 4 ohms across there. So let's go across the 2 outputs, and we've got 10 k out. So it looks like that bridge rectifier is okay. I think, however, I would like to have it out and have a little look, but that capacitor, the main smoothing capacitor, I think is also worth taking out and having a look. Now, I'm just wondering, that was pushed up against there. Let me just push that away and just double check to see if the fault is still there. Just because I'm just a little bit fussy about things touching that shouldn't be touching. Let's just try it one more time. No, it's still doing it. I think what I'm going to do, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to take the bridge rectifier out and take these 2 big capacitors out. That one particularly don't like the look of, but just double check the value of this capacitor, make sure it hasn't gone failed. There it is. So let's just make sure we know which way around it's going to go. So, see the red one, that's interesting, yeah. So the red mark there is positive. Yep, that's good, that's okay. So we'll just add another red mark just to be absolutely sure. And we'll just double check. Put it into diode mode. So between those 2 connections we should have. Right, so we've got a reading from one side of the AC in, reading from the other side. Positive to positive, there you go. And that's negative, yeah. So the bridge rectifier is okay. That's one good thing. Let's get that capacitor out and have a check. Wiggle loose the connections. I desolder them rather. Now, of course, it could just be that the problem we've got is one of the output transistors has failed, or that big capacitor there has failed. Although I'm looking for a mains hum, it could just be a faulty output stage. Not a faulty mains hum going through. Right, so that capacitor should now come out nice and neatly, and doesn't appear to be any bulging or damage on that. Let's stick it on capacitance on the meter, and we've got 2000 microfarad. So $92 nanofarad. Not sure that's right. Let's discharge it. Discharge it with something a little bit more, less rusty. Okay, so let's try it again. $95 nanofarad. Well, for a 2000 microfarad, that doesn't seem right. Now I've got a nice big 2000 microfarad here at 25 volts, and this one's rated at 30 volts. So let's see what this one reads. As though it's a second-hand one, I know it's okay. Let's see what that reads. 7 nanofarads. It must be this capacitance meter. Right, well, I've checked the thing on my test meter, and my test meter obviously won't go this high, but I put it on my component tester, and you can see it's I've just added some wires on just to get it into the connector there between 1 and 3, and it says it's a 230 nanofarad capacitor. So if I turn that off, come on, go back to there, remove that, and put this good 2000 capacitor in, 2000 microfarad capacitor in the same two connections, and then turn it to test. That reports 2006 microfarad. So this capacitor, as far as I'm concerned, is definitely at fault. Let's just take it out and do it one more time just to prove I'm not going bonkers. So into pin 1, and 3, close the grip, press the button, 356 nanofarad. Yep, as far as I'm concerned, this capacitor is virtually open circuit. So I'm going to replace it with this one. It's a smaller capacitor physically, but it's the right value, slightly higher voltage. Let's see how that gets it on. Right, so first thing first, we'll put the bridge rectifier back in place here. No need to change that. That's in the right place. Solder that little puppy in there. Like so. Now, just having a little look at my box of bits, I have actually got an axial capacitor, but it's only 16 volts. So the only other one I've got is 25 volt, and it should be 30 volts. So I'm going to stick with fitting this one in instead. So I'm just going to have to hope that I can make the leads fit, which I should be able to, just like that and that, and she's in. I'm just going to use my meter to hold that side up a little bit so it stops it falling down. Give the old circuit board a little bit of a clean off. Nice, that fits. Drops down. So it fits alright. Positive definitely at this side. Always worth triple checking things. Okie dokie. Here we go. Stand by for another test. No big hum. That's working. So there was our fault. A 2000 microfarad capacitor at 30 volts had basically changed its value, gone open circuit. Hence the loud hum. Quite a nice little repair. So the other thing I'm going to do, I noticed the control is a little bit scrunchy, so I'm just going to give these controls a little bit of a clean up, put it back together, then we'll do a little bit of a test and put a test disc in there, make sure it's playing back okay. Okay, so as these controls are mounted, really the most difficult position to get the contact cleaner in them, so you need to just sort of adjust the spray a little bit and hopefully get it into the slots. Quick little burst, and then run the control backwards and forwards, and the same with that one. And the same with that one. So hopefully that should solve that problem. Pop that back on there. Pop the control panel on the top. And pop the screws back in. Now wisely, when the owner bought it to me, they screwed down the transit screws to hold the deck in place, so we'll just release those by screwing them in. But obviously make sure he didn't do that one, he only did the one. Not to worry, and he's also taped down the tone arm, which is good. So we'll release that. And we'll plug it back in. Now I'm going to have to change the mains plug on this because it's not a shielded plug, and that's technically illegal in the UK. If I was to send that out back to the customer and there was a accident with a child putting fingers in sockets, technically I could be held responsible. So I'm going to change that and give them a plug. So back on, bass and treble in the middle. Oh, it's picking up that, so we'll turn it on. Now it'll probably go through a little reset because it's been moved about a bit. We'll pop that back. We'll do a reject just to make sure the mechanics are definitely working. It is. So we've got 78, 45, 33 and 16. So let's get a test disc and a strobe and see if it's going at the right speed. So although this is only 33 and a third and 45, there we have, we're on 45 at the moment. That's, hopefully you can see it strobing okay. I've got a strobe light I could shine on there, make it a bit more visible, but it's perfectly visible. Hopefully the camera can see it. Drop it down to 33. And 33 is running a little bit slow. Let's go to 16, what we won't see, but go back to 33. So might take the turntable out and just give that a little bit of a clean. It's probably just the jockey wheel, but 45 seems to be okay. 78. 45. Oh, it's actually, yeah, I think we do definitely need to just give that a test. Now, I picked this up off of eBay. It's a Hi-Fi Weekly demo disc. Oops. Let's just pop that in. Lift it, get it into the right place.
The next few minutes of this record have been devised by Hi-Fi Weekly and Record Review to assist you in checking the connections of your hi-fi system, and additionally to provide a sample of the fascinating dummy head stereo technique. The best results will be obtained by locating your speakers along a channel phasing. The purpose of stereo is to provide hollow and lacking in bass produce good stereo. If you were unable,
Yep, so well, it's certainly playing back okay, but there's that little annoying boom 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 going on. Let's see. Seems to be only when the tone arm is in contact.
Technique. The best results will be obtained by
so it's picking up vibration from the turntable, I would guess. So let's take that out and have a look. Now, to get the turntable out, we need to first release these little plastic clips that are holding this. Well, it's not plastic, it's the rubber. Just need a very fine screwdriver or a fine point just to get under that edge. We don't want to damage this label bit in the middle. There it is. It's been kept in good condition. That's an important part of that. When we look down inside here, we see lots of sticky tape or double-sided tape, obviously used to hold the plastic down, which is probably warped over the years. Prise off the little circlip. And then the whole turntable should come off there. And that bearing feels very dry and stiff. Shouldn't be that difficult to lift this off of here. So that will need a good clean up. What I might do is just put a little bit of lubricant in there. And that may get in there and just release it. Goodness, that was stiff. Oh yes, it's absolutely as dry as a bone. That. So let's give it a bit of a clean off. Just clean it with that isopropyl to start with. Clean off the jockey wheel. And then the pulley on the top of the motor. And that also feels rather stiff on there as well, so I'm going to pop that one out. and release it. Let's just be a little bit more careful when we test this in the way there. This mechanism comes off, and that also is, oh, it's not too bad. That one's not too bad, but it does need a little bit of a clean up. And we should be able to lift out the ball bearing race from here. Yeah. Yeah, that all looks to be, the ball bearing race seems to be in quite good condition, so just lubricating it should fix it, but we'll just wipe the remains of that old dried up grease off of there. Similarly from that one. That lever's okay, that arm's okay, but we'll just clean the top. Don't think we need to go any deeper than that. We should be okay. I'm going to use liquid moly on this. Where's the other part here? Just give this a clean get rid of the old dried up grease off of there. And a relatively clean bit of paper, put that through. That was okay, those are okay. Bin that. We'll just get ourselves a couple of cotton buds. Pop a little bit of liquid moly around that one. Around that one. Wipe it up and down the shaft. Yep, that's nearly in the right place. So let's just put a little bit more down the bottom there, pop the ball bearing race in. Put some fresh in the actual bearing race itself. And the washer back on. Again, making sure that gets around there. The awkward bit about this is you've just got to get a little lever into there just to pop that in so it slots down, and that should be the lifter arm. Quick test on that, it should go around like so. And back again to the stop position, which is there. and then we'll get another little bit of liquid moly into here. Rest that there for a minute, a little bit more in the top side, around there as well. That should just drop nicely down there. That's the way it should go on. Okie dokie. And that's spinning nicely. And it should just come straight back off. That's the way it should have come off to start with. So we could tell there was something wrong. So let's pop this clip on there. Put that back on. Put the clip back on there as well. Okay. So now when we go on, that's good. Let's put the auto changer on. What we do need to do is test it with some music. I'm only going to play snatches of this. I just want to make sure that the auto drop, go to 33, and it's a 12-inch disc, so this should, if I do reject, it should now drop that disc down and play it. And so certainly is playing, and there's no rumble that I can hear. Tone's working. So I might get a content match on that, in which case if I do, if you've seen a sudden glitch in the sound on this, you'll know that's because it's got a content match on that bit of music. I haven't got a test disc of music from YouTube or somebody that's okay. I suppose I could ask this, but it's so rare that I'm doing these record players these days. Anyway, we seem to have fixed it and it seems to be okay. Let's just see if we can reject that disc. Right, so the next thing we just need to check is that it will auto play a 45. So, everybody's favourite artist, ABBA. It's a 45 and it's a 7-inch. Let's see. Ooh, didn't quite drop properly. Yeah, so there we are. That's okay.
If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got no place to go, when you treat it.
Okie dokie. So, there we are. We are done. We are done. So, a loud humming on a record player, and it turned out to be exactly what I thought it was, which is main smoothing, getting through, basically lots of mains getting through into the output stage. We replaced the smoothing capacitor, fixed it, cleaned up the deck, and all we've got to do now is just put things back together properly. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But really pleased that we've now gone over 1,000 subscribers, and hopefully that will enable me to do some a little bit more complex. I've got some bits and pieces in the pipeline, so keep watching. Thanks a lot. Bye for now. Cheerio.